So typically at this time of year, we're at our convention where we do our traditional passing of the gavel to our new chairman. Obviously, we're not having a convention this year. So we're in Goshen, Indiana today, presenting the gavel to our 2021 chairman, Keith Rose. Keith, it gives me pleasure to pass this on to you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Well, Richard, I appreciate you and the rest of the board having the faith in me to take on this role. It's a great honor to do so. I've been involved with a number of associations over the years, and I believe ICI is one of the best run organizations from not only the staff, but the board and the membership, because when they go to represent the industry, they do so by taking their company hat off, putting their industry hat on, making decisions that are in the best interest of the entire industry as opposed to just their individual company. And I respect that from the members of the industry very much. So thank you.
So we're up here in Goshen today with Keith Rose, our 2021 ICI chairman. Keith, thanks for joining us today. Normally, we would be kicking off our year with the convention and doing other ways to reach out to the membership. And obviously, we've had to pivot in the COVID times. So, Keith, thanks for doing this today. And we just want to have a conversation about you and your background and ICI and where we're headed. So tell us about Keith Rose. Tell me about your career journey. Where did you start? Where'd you grow up, school, all of that?
Grew up in South Central Pennsylvania, very rural part of the country. Not near as flat as Goshen, Indiana is, obviously. Small town school. The high school still the same as it was when I went there. Hasn't changed much. But went on to Penn State University as a civil engineer graduate. Graduated in the mid-'80s when there was...
lying. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm fish out of water in Goshen. We have a lot of Purdue grads in the company.
Yeah.
We have Michigan State grads. We have a lot of Michigan Tech grads.
Yeah.
But there is another Penn State grad in the company. Danny Hanna, our HR manager, came on board
Shout
after
out
I
to
did.
Danny.
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun with that with all the IU grads as well, particularly this year with the infamous reach with the football game, which Brian and Mike decided to give me a T-shirt for Christmas with that on it.
Oh, nice of them.
Yeah, love them. Bless their heart. But in the mid-'80s when I graduated, there was not much work in this industry, as we talked about earlier, and finally ended up working in Baltimore, Maryland, and was in a temporary apartment with another gentleman who had just came on to run the construction division. Spent 5 years working with him. Then I wanted to go on from asphalt paving and get into commercial and private work and heavy highway work. Did that for a number of years. And I was working in York, Pennsylvania for Kinsley Construction, and they're full service. Highway construction, do bridges, buildings, a lot of building development, big boxes. And had an opportunity to look at a job out in the Midwest, and I called the gentleman who I'd been in the temporary apartment with, and because he was familiar with this company, and shot the breeze with him for a little while. And I said, "Nah, I'll stay where I'm at." And 2 weeks later, that same gentleman called me up and said, "Why don't you come out here and work with me again?" Ron Pope.
Oh, you're kidding. So you shared an apartment with Ron?
Yeah,
in
for
Baltimore, Maryland.
For 2 weeks. So I was the young kid out of college. When he was going out to the plants and the crews at night, I was going out with the guys.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Spent 5 years working with Ron, and it was a great experience. I've learned an awful lot from him over the years. Great co-worker and tremendous mentor.
Wow.
Not only to myself, but a lot of people through the industry, our company.
Yeah.
So it's a small world. So that was 1999.
Okay.
And I moved out to run our Michigan division and did that for a number of years, and then moved down to southern Michigan just to where I can commute here to Goshen. In 2006, ran both Indiana and Michigan, and then things just continued from there. President in 2009, CEO in 2011.
Isn't it amazing, the connection? You just don't ever know, do you?
No.
The connections you make.
It's a small, tight-knit industry. It
Yeah.
really is. That was the hardest thing about picking up and moving. Back then, you had Rolodexes. You
Sure.
didn't have everything
I
computerized.
had to explain to Sarah and some others what a Rolodex was the other day.
And I had 3 sets of alphabets of relationships and phone numbers and pager numbers back then
Yeah.
of anybody I could call on any situation when what hit the fan,
Right.
and you had to give all that up and start from scratch, and that was a big consideration.
Yeah.
It's worked out well.
Yeah.
We picked up and moved 600 miles away from both sides of our family. That was tough to do with a 4 and 5-year-old boys. But I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat.
So Rieth-Riley, 100+ years old. They predate ICI by a few years. Always northern part of the state. How long have you been in central Indiana and elsewhere at physical presence?
I couldn't pinpoint the exact
Yeah.
year, but you're right. Initially started in northern Indiana and then southern Michigan. A lot of portable asphalt plants when the interstate was being built across I-94 in Michigan and throughout Indiana. The central Indiana presence has grown over the years,
Yeah, right.
as the company as a whole has grown. From the time I started in '99 to where we are now, I would say, if I do the math in my head real quick, we have tripled in size.
So how many employees do you currently have?
We have roughly 350 ESOP employees.
Okay.
And then when we add the craft personnel during mid-season, we're better part of 2,000.
Sure. Wow. Busy.
That's a happy problem.
Yeah, exactly. So you told me earlier, you've been a part of 7 different trade associations over the years?
This will be the 7th. When I came into Michigan, I assumed the board position of my predecessor on what was then the Michigan Road Builders Association.
Okay.
Then that merged with the Associated Underground Contractors into the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association.
MITA, which we're very
MITA,
familiar
which
with.
is your counterpart in
right.
Michigan.
They do great work.
Was involved with them, was on the board from 2005 until went up through the chairs and then passed out.
Okay.
Moved on, let others step in. Then several paving associations
Yeah.
in Michigan and Indiana.
Yeah. And now here. You're going to cap it off with ICI.
Yes, and you're going to make my life very easy.
That's what we try to do.
No drama.
No, we don't like drama. So we were talking earlier, some of the things we've got on our plate. Obviously, we're continuing to try to grow our ITT partnership with NDOT and all the different district groups. In fact, today, I think the Fort Wayne group is doing a virtual meeting. I know that you all have been supportive of that and hope you will continue to be. I think it's unfortunately been pushed back a little bit, our growth, by the virtual stuff we have to do now. But I think a lot of the relationships that we've been trying to build are definitely paying fruit.
Very pleased with the effort and very supportive of where it's headed.
Right. And then we obviously have some things legislatively that we're going to try to pursue this year. Chief among those, of course, yet again, another attempt at a automated speed enforcement bill, which will run into some of the same problems that we always do, but we'll continue to try to push those. We have some positives that we think might help us move the ball a little bit this year. Talk to us about safety in Rieth-Riley and your commitment to safety and the things you've done over the years.
We've made a big push on safety since I've been with the company, and that started with Ron, and we've continued it on. Bob Montel, our safety director, and the rest of his staff have, I believe, 5 full-time safety personnel now across the company. And the proof is in the pudding. Our numbers have drastically improved in the last 10 years. Very pleased with that. And it's interesting when you go out to a crew and you talk to them and you explain to them, safety is first, quality comes second, and then production.
Then speed. Don't worry about speed.
The first time you have that conversation with a crew, they look at you like you have 3 eyes. But it resonates, and it shows in the numbers.
Yeah.
You end up with a much better safety performance. You end up with a much better quality performance, and your production is as good as it would be otherwise.
Yeah.
If you have time to go back and do it a second time, you have time to do it right the first time.
Right. That's good advice. Very good advice. Well, we're looking forward to a good year. I hope it is easy for you. I tell the staff that we are looking at our signpost for the future is the late spring and early summer golf events. That's what we're trying to get to bring back in-person things. In the meantime, we'll continue to do what we've been doing, things like this. So we appreciate you coming on with us today. And anything else you want to say to folks before we take off?
Just I appreciate what you and staff have done to navigate
Pivot
these times. Yes. And I think people have gotten accustomed to that, learn how to be efficient at that, and realize that they can get work done without face-to-face.
Right.
It's not the same, and there's a time and place for those face-to-face meetings, but
Correct.
you can be effective in your business without it.
Yeah, I agree with that and appreciate it. And we've all learned a lot. I think everybody's learned a lot, and there will be things that we take from this to help us get better and things we are eager to get back to. So
Future's bright.
that's right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
See you.